Good morning and welcome, well, good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime Business, guys. Thank you for joining us. It's going to be happening every Friday afternoon where you can catch a half an hour of really great information from myself and business coach. Joining us today is Pieter Gruenbaum. He's going to be here for the next couple of weeks. Pieter, welcome to the show and thank you for chatting with us today.
Hi, good morning, Kevin, and good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, wherever you are. Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity once again. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this, Kevin. Hopefully we can add some value to the businesses that's really struggling out there and even to those who thrive out there. Thanks for the opportunity once again. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Pieter is an award-winning business coach, action coach, and he's going to be chatting to us about some wonderful strategies that we can implement in our businesses at the moment. Pieter, but last week we went through a nice presentation that you shared with us and gave us some really useful tips that we can start checking at and looking at marketing as an investment. Don't you want to just recap for us where we were and what we spoke about, and then we'll go from there?
Yeah, by all means. All right, we emphasized the fact that we're looking at 5 ways to do your business marketing. We call it the business chassis, which is the same thing as we've got an Audi R8 and a Volkswagen Golf that are built on the same chassis. Most businesses, big or small, are built on this chassis. Now the 5 ways are that impacts on our results, which is your turnover and your profitability and things like that. The 5 ways, which is lead generation times conversion, gives you your customer base, how many customers you've got. They buy at a certain rand rate. How many times they buy, that gives you your turnover times your profit margin, gives you your profit at the end of the time, your results. Okay, so that's more or less, we talked about the business chassis, the 5 ways of really impacting your marketing, and specifically in those target areas, 5 different areas of marketing.
Fantastic. So, and you've got one of the questions that we have here is the 6 magical steps to the business success. Is that part of that same equation? How does it all fit together?
All right. As we go through the 6 steps, I will show you where that fits in. So if you don't mind, I'd like to, at this point, just share my screen with you guys. That makes it a lot easier to see the graphics. Let me just go in there quickly.
Cool. Can you, have you got access to share?
Yeah.
Okay,
should have.
Yeah.
Just open. No. Why doesn't it want to share this morning?
There we go. Okay, try now.
Okay, there's it. Thank you. All right, let's see. Let's open this up and then we can have a look at what we are looking at. All right, so I'll fill you in where the 5 ways fit in as we go along. But we all started at mastery. Okay, mastery, we call it eliminating the chaos. Now there's 4 different departments of mastery, for which the one we will actually tackle today. Then we build the next block, which is a niche or your marketing. This is now predictable cash flow. This is where your marketing, your 5 ways actually really fits in very well to create that stability of a constant customer inflow. Then we call next step is building block is leverage, where you create efficiency in your business.
Yeah.
The next step then is your team to structure the growth, the right people on the bus and the right seats and the right driver. Synergy creates between you as the business owner, the CEO, whatever the company, as your leader with your team and everything. So you've got results at the end of the day, massive profits. So where are you? A well-oiled machine. We can implement that synergy, a general manager, whatever the case may be, or sell the business with results and so on. Okay, so for this is where the whole thing fits in, if you can see the building blocks from there.
Fantastic. So these are the 6 steps that we'll be following and talking and chatting about in the next couple of weeks. So it's the mastery, the niche, the leverage, the team, the synergy, and the results.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. So what are we starting on the mastery today, or where are we going today?
Yeah, we're going to mastery. Now there are 4 steps in mastery as well. The first one is, let me go back to mastery. The first one is destination mastery. Where are you going? The second one is money mastery. How does your cash flow look? What are your reports look like? And things like that specifically. Then also delivery mastery and also time mastery. Okay. So for today, we're going to look at destination mastery.
Fantastic.
Okay. So
yeah, carry on.
Okay. So the question one has to ask is, where are you going? Why do you ask this question? Is this relevant in COVID-19? Getting out of lockdown, still a lot of business still in lockdown. We're looking at, why are we asking a question like that? Does this impact my cash flow at the end of the day? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a good, the fact that, we start there, and I think it's so relevant. It's relevant because of COVID, but I think it's also relevant from all the conversations that I am having with clients and other colleagues. A lot of what's coming up is creating clarity and sort of understanding where we're going and where to from here. Because the moment we don't have that clarity, it's that debilitation that happens, and it doesn't actually move forward.
Absolutely. Right. So the one thing that should actually be the most stable in your business at this stage of the game is actually having that vision that you've always had all along. That hasn't changed. It maybe has shifted a little bit further out, but it's still a vision that you need to go along. We can't just, in this day and age, drift along, have no rudder or no wind to speak of, or no direction, whatever the case may be. Okay, so where are you then heading, and why is this relevant in today's day and age? The reason being that absolute change formula that we also talk about, but that change that happens in our businesses, in our lives, that one thing or two things, let's call it one thing, which is your vision. Yeah. That's the direction in your business, in your life as such.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's discuss a little bit about the vision. What am I aiming to achieve? Why am I doing this? What I'm doing? Who am I doing what I'm doing? Now, this is a very relevant question and a very, maybe not difficult question, because a lot of people, who am I question, if you need to answer that, most people will tell you, but I am a business owner, or I am a father, or I am this. But if you really go into that vision, that who am I, that's a question that one needs to answer. And it needs to be something like, not something like, it must be, I am driven, I am a visionary, I am looking forward to being successful. Positive statements, and one can actually put it out there and ask the listeners and the viewers, go sit down and write down 20 of these I am statements in the positive sense. Who am I as a person? Okay. That creates the...
Sorry, Pieter, I just want to add to that. I think one of the things that I've come across quite significantly as well with doing a lot of coaching, and this, I'm talking about executives. So people who have been in their, in their business life for many years already, and they've been doing what they've been doing for many years. Some of them are at that point where they're still questioning who am I and what that is.
Absolutely.
And one of the values or one of the principles that we follow quite specifically is to understand what the values are that I have for myself. Because if I don't know what my value drivers are, when it comes to my business and how I do my business and how I leave a legacy at the end of the day, people get stuck there because they don't know what their values are and they don't know how to drive that. So I love the fact that when you're saying, what legacy am I leaving? It's, a lot of the time people kind of go, oh, that's such a big question. But essentially it's not really, because, whatever you're doing today on the planet, when you're not here anymore, it either carries on without you, or you either leave that in the memories and hearts of people, or you don't. And it depends on whether you want to be able to do that or not. And I think, when you understand the values that support me as an individual, from an individual perspective, I can also understand what my day-to-day behavior will start becoming, because of the values that I have for my life, leaving a legacy and driving my business more. I'm loving the fact that, from a psychological perspective and from a business implementation, those things really have to match at all the time.
Absolutely. And rightly so, you don't have to leave a legacy like a Paul Revere or somebody that's really renowned for outstanding things. The outstanding things in one's life is what actually stays behind, that people follow. And as a leader, we create followers, and those followers will live your legacy. And it's small things that you do day to day, like your values, like the beliefs that you instill in people. Those are the things that as far as I'm concerned, that's the legacy that you leave, that people can follow. Not necessarily to be a complete outstanding Bill Gates or whatever. It's not necessary to be like that.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Right. All right. So the next question is, what's your purpose in life? Which is also, many people can't tell you what their purpose is. Why has God put me on this earth? What am I doing to create? Not create. What am I doing to create? Yeah, my purpose. What is that? To find that out is very important in this day and age. To see why am I here, and why am I doing what I'm doing?
Yeah. So, but on that note, I think so many people sort of have that moment. And I think, because of the times that we're living in, it's a question to start asking. One of the action steps that I've taken just in the last 2 months is really starting to question, where do I want to live? How do I spend my life every single day? Do I want to be in Johannesburg? Do I want to be somewhere else? And that's already starting to, I'm starting to take action steps to make sure that my business runs online. And it doesn't mean I have to be in Johannesburg, so, everything that starts happening and everything we're caught up in at the moment, we have to start asking these questions, because I think we fall into that usual habit formed way of doing what we've done for the last 10 years or 5 years or 20 years, and that may not be the most useful strategy, so asking big questions like this really, really gets people to start thinking, well, am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Am I yet doing the right thing? And if I can change it, how can I change it quickly? Because it's necessary.
Absolutely. I agree with you full-heartedly, because this is absolutely the way that we've been forced to ask these questions. In the past, it wasn't really necessary because we were in a comfort zone, most of us. Now, the situation that we're in has forced us to ask these questions. And that's the reason why it's so relevant in today's day and age. And cash flow is also irrelevant. But if we don't know where we're going, we're not going to be able to create that cash flow in the end of the day.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So then the next step is your mission. The mission is creating the roadmap for achieving your vision and your purpose. That's just a strategy implementing way of moving where you are. Because if you want to go from point A to point B, you need to have a roadmap, and you need to know that there's the specific places that you need to stop and so on. Okay.
Yeah. Peter, I want to just clarify as well, from having done what I've done for a couple of years now, and gone through a lot of business coaching sessions and learning a whole bunch. I think what people misinterpret about having a mission is they think it's this big thing that people do, and they're very disconnected from having a mission.
Yeah.
And I think it's, when people break it down into practical implementable steps, that's the bottom line. It's not as way out there and big kind of thinking that we require. It's practical little steps, and saying, I'm going to get so many clients on board this week. I'm going to phone so many people. I'm going to contact so many. You're going to create an actual roadmap to have on a weekly basis, and it's practical micro habits really that needs to create that roadmap. It's really not this big huge question that very often this kind of leads us to think. It's like, oh well, I don't know what my mission is. What do you mean, what's my mission? So but when you think of it as a practical step, like that's what your mission, your mission is you want to get from here to there. How do we get there? Or how do you break it down into practical daily behavior? So I love the fact that it's called a roadmap. People need to understand where they're going.
Absolutely. And for me also, writing your mission is actually telling your story of how to get to your vision in you can call it layman's terms maybe, but you actually write your story of how you're going to get to your vision and your purpose. And some people also confuse purpose and mission. There's a vast difference between the two in the context that we are talking about. Some people may have a mission to achieve, mission to go out and do an outreach for a church or whatever the case may be. There's a vast difference in this instance.
Yeah.
All right. So then the next point is culture. Now, creating a culture for your company. We've got at Action Code 14 points of culture, which includes things like integrity and having fun and commitment and teamwork and so on. Okay, those rules must be there for everybody in your company to follow. And this also creates that legacy once again of your company. People, if you've got a strong culture, people would like to come and work with you. Not for you, with you, because that's an environment that's safe for people to work in when there's a strong culture.
Yeah,
and we need to create that as business owners, as business leaders.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got which part of this is part of our foundation, right? So creating a strong foundation and a base for the business. This is really the starting point for everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah, this is the part of the mastery is the destination part of mastery. Is the first step that you create, because you need to know where you are going. You need to not just. There must be a rudder. There must be a winds in the sails. There must be a direction. There must be a compass. There must be everything directional in on where you're going. If you don't know that, it's very difficult to build a company.
I think that's also maybe it's a good metaphor to use. If you're going to create a boat, if you're going to build a boat from scratch, or if you have a boat and maybe the boat doesn't have a sail, you've got to be able to ask yourself, what does my sail look like? How am I going to put one up? And what does that mean in my business? If it doesn't have a rudder, how do I make that? How do I put one and implement one? And what does that mean in my business? So you've got to consistently break it down into practical implementable steps, because then it becomes a moving mechanism and a moving part of what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I agree. Totally.
Fantastic. Right. So where do we go from here?
All right. From here, I want to put out a challenge to everybody. This is a formula for success. It's dreams times your goals times what you learn, what you plan, and what you action out of this. Now, dreams is your vision, your mission, whatever, where you want to go to, what you want to achieve. Okay, score yourself out of 10 But if you want 10 out of 10, it must be a written down dream. It must be a written down vision. It must be established where everybody can see it. Okay. If you haven't got it written down and so on, you can't score yourself 10. Goals the same. If you haven't got written down goals for achieving those dreams, visions, where you want to be, you can't score yourself 10 out of 10. What are you learning?
I want to kind of quickly
sure.
just figure out how you do this. So you're saying dreams times, what are we timesing it by?
By goals. So if you've got dreams 5 out of 10, if you've got dreams, let's say you've got 5 out of 10 times the goals, which is 10 out of 10 perhaps.
Yeah.
Okay. Learn, you've got to score yourself 3 or 4 out of 10. So
yeah.
Planning, you score yourself 6, and action, you score yourself 10. Okay, so it's the dreams, the score that you've got, times each other to come out of 100,000. How much do you get to that? So if you've got...
Okay, so carry on explaining. While you're doing that, I'm going to quickly see how successful I am.
Awesome. All right, so you have to set goals for your dreams to achieve them. Now, certain goals for now might have changed. It might have now. Maybe it's not a 5-year goal anymore. It's now an 8-year goal. And if you've got a 1-year goal that you have to extend to a 2-year goal, perhaps. But these goals must be written down. It must be implemented and actually workable. Okay. Now you need to learn what new skills do you need to learn to achieve these goals, which might have changed. Okay, which might have pivoted, which as I've explained. So, but it's not necessarily just what you have to learn as a business owner or as a leader, business leader. What are your people needing to learn to actually achieve what they now need to do? The way that you've pivoted your business, putting that into a plan, into what we call a quarterly plan, a 90-day plan, or an annual plan, or a daily plan. So you can action that step by step by step. So it will be interesting. Let the viewers and the people listening to this, I want to challenge them. Comment on to us, to you and me, Kevin. It will be very interesting to see how many people get 100,000 out of 100,000.
No, I'm far from 100,000. Let me tell you, I've got some work to do here. But what's beautiful about it is when you are measuring yourself out of 10, it's to not really think a lot about it, but it gives you a nice quick way to guide. Let me just guide and see, what is it sitting at? So what are my dreams sitting out of 10? It's maybe a 6, and my goals are at about a 4. At the moment you start going, oh wow, okay, cool, I'm actually only on a total of 50,000 or 20,000 or whatever, it really brings it home quite practically and quite quick.
Absolutely. It's like the 5 ways, eh? It actually jumps out at you and says, wow, okay, I need to look at this. I need to do something about this.
I love this. Thank you, Pieter. That's beautiful.
That's the purpose of coaching, as you know, is to actually look at these things critically and guide our clients through actually what are the dreams about. How do they put it into a plan, the goals, learns, and plan and action, so that you can achieve what you want to achieve?
Absolutely, yeah. Fantastic. So, where do we go from here? So once we work this out, then at least if people watch this, they must please comment in the bar below, in the description bar, and I'd love to follow up and check with people and see what they're saying. Yeah,
I would like to do the same, Kevin. I think this is what people really need to do. For now, this to end off with destination mastery. This is important. This sets what we call your reticular activating system, your RAS. It focuses on where you need to go, what you want to do, and truly speaking, that will impact your cash flow. Let's be honest. If you are focused on doing the things that you need to do, your cash flow will be affected. And if your people know what you need to achieve and they are with you on that, if their goals are aligned with yours or your goals are aligned with theirs, whatever the case, way you're talking around, turn it around to, and they are learning what they need to do, that will impact your cash flow immediately. Or not immediately, it will long term, because it's long-term planning strategically.
But Peter, I'm just looking at now the formula for success. As a business owner, not only does this work for you and your business, but it works for your staff. If you use this and implemented this with your staff and said, okay, cool. Well, what are your dreams? What are your goals? What are you learning? How are you planning? And what action are you taking? As the business owner, you could be looking at your staff going, okay, cool. Is this in alignment with the bigger, broader goals that we set out for this business? And really, getting everybody on the same page, because the moment everyone has clarity and everyone knows, okay, this is the dream, this is the goal, this is how we're going to learn this is the plan, this is the action. It brings such significance to everyone's reticular activation system and gets everyone focused in the same purpose and the same vision. So it drives the ship so much faster and so much easier to get to where we're going.
Absolutely. So now when something like COVID-19 happens, everybody can pivot and look in a different direction, because everybody's on the same page for now. Now, tomorrow it's different, but everybody is willingly doing the different things or changing into the different direction, what needs to happen. Okay.
Yeah, I wish we could sit and talk like this for a while.
Absolutely.
But we're going to have to stop there. That's Lunchtime Business for every Friday. It's going to, I just want to take us off the screen here. Yeah. Can you end your screen there?
I will do so. There's it.
Okay, cool. So thank you for sharing that, guys. So just to recap on everything, really start to have a base foundation of what your vision, your purpose, your mission, your culture is, and then check out the formula of success and measure that for yourselves and see how that's working for you. Because I think it's going to be a fantastic feedback session to see online. Please share your comments everywhere on all the videos, because we are going to be sharing on the social media. Peter, just tell us lastly, where can we get hold of you when we want to? I know I always put all the information in the description box below, but what's the quickest way to get hold of you?
Well, the best way to get hold of me is actually sending me an email, Pieter Gruenbaum @actioncoach.com, or give me a phone call. It's 081 337 0470, or go to my website, pietergruenbaum.actioncoach. It's .com, and go to my website. There's a contact page there. You can contact me via that as well. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to interact with the people out there. This is my passion. I know it's yours, Kevin. We need to assist business people out there to get through this and over this and thrive afterwards.
Absolutely. And for those who don't know yet, we're doing Lunchtime Business every Friday. Every other day we're doing lunchtime coaching, and we're doing some lunchtime marketing on a Thursday. So we're also doing that every other day. So I'm just going to leave everybody with a bit of a quote for today. Thank you for joining us for today. And the quote is, a comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing grows there. Thank you, Peter. Have a wonderful time.
Awesome.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for joining us, and I will see you next week.
Cool. Enjoy.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Stay safe.